Like a
Hey, hey,
G.
hey, everyone. We are live again in the group and on Twitter and on YouTube. So
Yeah.
welcome. So what a day we've had with futures releasing and pretty much liquidating a whole heap of people that were short and
Mm.
over leveraged.
It's nice to see some green for sure. I know we've had a few trades in the group hitting target today and overnight for us. It was nice to wake up for that. So absolutely epic. Brilliant. So as usual, we're going to do a Bitcoin update, right, Lise? And
Yep, we certainly are. So I'm going to jump
Ethereum as well, or
straight
just
into it.
I've got a noisy dog behind me. Ethereum as well, or just Bitcoin?
No, just a Bitcoin one. So on
Okay.
Twitter. So let's jump into that. So I've turned into nerdy Lisa with my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. So two patterns right now on Bitcoin as what I'm seeing. So this is a complete ABC. So this is a bearish pattern. We're sort of hovering in the middle again. So we've got a break point on this one at around 27 sort of 350 to about 27 sort of 400-ish. If we go down that by a wick and we go back up, then we're bullish potentially. The pivot on the bullish mark is 28,591. So what it looks like on this bearish sort of pattern is a completion of the E wave, which potentially can take us down as low as about 24 and a half, maybe 23 with a wick. So if we build this as a bullish pattern, we would have an ABC here. So let me bring up. So we would have an A, a B, and a C complete. And this is the start of our impulse. So forget about this. This would be the start of our impulse, and this would be our wave one. So we would be going into the next sort of pattern up in this impulse and coming to these patterns, retesting down on that channel, and then continuing up. So that's what our bullish pattern looks like. But right now we're stuck under this resistance. The reason this resistance is such an important resistance to break at the moment, if we go to our 12-month chart, this is a Bitfinex chart, we can see that this area here is going to be incredibly difficult to break. So 28,840 is this pivot region here, which pretty much takes us into bullish territory. And then our next annual sort of resistance is not until about 46K. So potentially we could go up and retest that region, come back down. So when we go to, this is a monthly chart. So there's so many areas to sort of take into consideration here when we're looking at all the timeframes, depending on how we're trading this market. So if we're scalping, obviously you're going to be going these tiny little waves. These are the longer term positions that we're looking at. So we're looking at our next resistance. Our next sort of major resistance is sitting at around 35-ish on this chart. So 34,297 to probably about 35 in this region here. So that's the next major resistance that we're going to be looking at. We've got quite good bullish momentum. We can see these are pulling up, but I don't think we're sort of, out of this pattern yet. Although I do think we're going to retest up at this 35 sort of K. Maybe in sort of, June, this is our green month. So when we go back down to this region, so this is 2019. So we all know that Bitcoin works. Well, hopefully we do, in a 4-year cycle. So this works with quantitative tightening and quantitative easing, which is what governments use to put interest rates up, to print money, that sort of thing, bonds and that, and all of that sort of stuff is in this chart. So when we went back to 2019, we can see that we had this huge big rise. You've heard me talk about this before. And the month of June, 4 years ago was quite a green month for us. And then we had this pullback. So looking at this chart here within the 4-year cycle, we're sort of sitting in that range here, which is around this region here where we got this nice push before we came back down around, March, when we had that liquidity and deleveraging crisis, which was also the COVID sort of stuff coming out, and we had that crash. We didn't break the bottom. So this is potentially what we're seeing here. We're coming up wherever this lands, whether it's at this resistance, the higher resistance at that 45K, which is that 12-month resistance. So we could get quite an explosive run over the next couple of months, taking us up to sort of August. And then we get that pullback, slow pullback for that next point where we get, the actual bull run commencing, where we have the halving. So halving, depending on what you want to call it. So that is when we get that climb to 2024, we're sort of sitting around June 24. So we're about a year away from halving. So I think it's about April at the moment for the halving, according to it's worked on block height. So according to that, it changes depending on demand. It may come earlier, it may go a little bit later, but around April at the moment. So that's what we're looking at. So potentially we've just got to sit this out. I do think we're going to really retest this region here. And that's incredibly vital that we do break this region, or else we're probably coming back down a little bit before we head up. So that is what I'm seeing in BTC for this week. I do think we're getting that 28,840, and hopefully we're going to break that. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. And just for the members, we're going to be going into the members only part of the weekly wrap up in a minute. Lise, did you want to add anything else there for the whole world to see?
No. So if they do have any questions, please jump onto my YouTube or Twitter and I'll get to them after I've done the group weekly.
Okay. We'll say goodbye to them now, and all our members stick around and we will continue on there. So Lise, you go for it, and I'm just going to do my bits over.